You are now in the building and on the Mental Margarita Show.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I tell you, you know what? For the audience that's paying attention, you guys really need to pay a lot of attention. I mean, you're talking about singer, performer, actress, philanthropist, you name it, she claims it. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra Pillar's in the building today. How are you feeling?
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I like the background. You look real cozy right now.
Yeah, I've got an office, but they're working in there. So I came into my room where shut the door so it's nice and quiet and I'm all comfy.
So, born and raised in Southern California, and I've done my research, but one thing I think all of your fans know, including myself, is that country girl at heart.
Right.
Now, was that something? I mean, was that something that just you woke up and you said, "Hey, I'm just this country girl at heart"? I mean, how did that transition?
Well, I was originally, doing singing workshops and all that and trying to do popular music at the time. And the teachers in the class said, you have a Southern accent. I was born and raised here. What are you talking about? But my mom came from San Antonio, Texas. So I must have picked something up from her. I only sometimes will say y'all to be funny, stuff like that. But they said you should be doing country music. And I thought, I don't know any country music. But then I realized, growing up, I heard Stand By Your Man
Oh
and
yeah.
Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue and, some
Oh,
others. And I went, oh, wait. And they're story songs. And I've always liked those songs. And Crazy, I knew that one. So I thought, okay, I'll give that a shot. And started doing that. And then I realized that if I wanted to really be an artist, I had to have original music. So that's when
right.
I started writing. And then I did go to Nashville and met the songwriter Jane Bach. And we've
And
been
that's
fast.
where things changed.
And that's where things changed. Yes, I was writing original country music with her, and in writing, two and three people. A couple times it was four people. Most of the time it's two to three. But so yeah, that's pretty much how I got started into country. And when I did start, my late mother-in-law Ruth Roberts had a career songwriting from like the 40s to the 60s. And
And
she
that was
said,
very impressive.
yes. So she said, and I had some country hits, so I'll let you do those. So she gave me three or four of her songs to do. So that
Wow.
was very cool. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was cool because your mother-in-law, I mean, she wrote for Ella Fitzgerald and Jimmy Dean, and I mean, like a lot of big people here.
Yeah. Louis
Buddy
Armstrong.
Holly.
Yes. And later the Beatles cut that song and she didn't know it because it didn't get on. They were doing their last album, Let It Be. And so during the sessions, they did a bunch of cover songs that they loved. And they loved Buddy Holly and the Crickets. So they did that song, but didn't make it to the album. I don't know if any of those, they were doing it for fun. But 30 years later, she was still alive. She got a
Wow.
phone call. They wanted to put it on their third anthology album. And she had no idea.
Oh my
They never cut it.
goodness.
Can you imagine? Whoa.
I am
Now,
telling you.
I know. So when I'm doing my shows now, sometimes I'll say, when I tell the story about this, and then I'll say, so you songwriters out there, don't give up. It could take a while, but there
Right?
it is.
About let's talk about your mother because for those that don't know, your mother was very iconic
Well, she was an actress, Sandra Giles.
and an unbelievable actress, and also got to be in a movie with Elvis Presley. It
Yes.
happened at the World Fair.
Yes, that was fun. And, I don't think she had many days shooting on that, but he did take her out to dinner, dinner only. And, she said he was a really sweet guy, very gentleman, and lovely. So that was fun
Wow.
for her.
How
Yeah.
was it how was it like you being raised by your mother? I mean, she's doing her thing in Hollywood. I mean, she very beautiful woman, and I'm sure it was hectic. I mean, do you remember your childhood and those experiences?
I do some. I actually had written a song about it called Hollywood Child,
Oh.
and I haven't recorded it. I had it in I
Oh.
know. I had it in my live show this last year, a couple of them. And, and I'm thinking of recording it, but it's so different than everything else that I keep saying I'm going to save it for the live show album
Right.
because, without the backstory, um, I don't know, you may not quite understand it all. But I do in my show, I say, when I was young, I learned a little bit about acting too, because she would bring producers over to pick her up or actors. And so we would pretend that I was her niece or I was her roommate's child because being a single woman in those days
Yeah.
and having a child, well, then you're too old to play some of these parts in their heads.
Right.
So I kind of did a song about that. And it's funny when I watch the video of the show and the people in the audience, they laugh at some of it. And then later, as it gets a little deep, they go, "Oh, oh, okay, that's kind of sad." But we all lived through it. I
Yeah.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
And
That one thing that I really love is watching your videos.
mm.
It's something about your music videos. They just capture you.
Oh, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, you got some really good videos.
Thanks. Thanks. Well, I've had some great video editors, and I started not wanting to be in my videos so much. So I would just do the story of the video with other footage.
Yeah.
And so some of them really tell nice stories, I think, without me in it. I'm singing, but it's not about
Very
me so much.
tasteful. Very,
Oh,
very
thank
tasteful.
you. Thanks.
Extremely. Now, on a more serious note, um, your late husband, Michael Pillar,
Right.
brilliant man. For the audience, executive producer of Star Trek. He's done hundreds of episodes. This guy was just an amazing talent. And I see that you actually did a CD dedicated to him. How was that? Going through that, and I know that was like your best friend, your soulmate, your everything.
Yeah. Well, it's never easy going through that. I'm actually thinking of putting a show together about him and me in our lives, and maybe I could even do it at the Star Trek conventions if I do it well. So,
Yeah,
so I'm working on that. Um, but yeah, the song that after he passed, I wrote a song with Jane. Well, I had all the ideas that I wrote down, and then I got with Jane and we wrote Love Goes On. And that was
yeah. What
the
a
title
great.
song of that CD. And the
Yeah,
rest were all original songs that Jane and I had written. Um, and when they did a Star Trek convention in Nashville, it was the 25th anniversary of Next Gen, I think it was. And so I had it ready for
yeah.
that.
You never know. We might collaborate. I might do a hip hop remix to one.
Oh, to one of
Add
Ruth's?
add a new spin to it, Sandra.
Oh, well, that's what I'm hoping will happen. I want to get her music out there again, and people got to put their own stamp on things. So,
Yeah,
hey,
that'll be cool. So any other things in the works? Is there any more things in the laboratory?
um, I may be going, we're still talking about figuring it out, back to New York to do a show there of Ruth's songs with a couple other singers. So we would share the stage. We did it at Feinstein's 54 Below a few years ago before COVID. And now I'm hoping to put something together with them again too. So that might be at the end of May. So
At
I
the
can
end
keep
of
you
May.
posted. Yeah, I can keep you posted.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be really great. I tell you, you have just been amazing. And just hearing your music, your spirit is so radiant.
Oh,
And it just jumps out of the screen. And it's such an honor to have you on the show. If people want to know more about you, check out your music, see those videos I've been bragging about, because that stuff that you got's got my head spinning.
oh, wow.
And how do they reach you?
Well, I have a website, sandrapiller.com. That's Piller. We've gotten lots. Diller, Miller, Tiller, P with a Peter. P like Peter.
Oh, come on. They doing
Sandrapiller.com.
that? Man, come on.
And I
That's
have a
off, man.
and I have a YouTube station, so you can go on there as well.
Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. We got Billy Vera in the building.
Happy to be here, man.
Musician. This is unbelievable. Musician, songwriter, music historian, Grammy winner, actor, the magical voiceover artist of our time. I mean, from Harlem to Hollywood, the book. I mean, you guys already know who this guy is. It's a pleasure to have you on. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Sky.
Oh man, I'm feeling fantastic today.
Good.
And it's good to see you, man.
Well, it's good to be seen.
Right?
Where are you at right now?
Right now I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh man, you're in the Sin City, huh?
Yes. I'm in Sin City, man, but I'm trying my best to not sin too much. I'm trying my
Good.
best. I'm working out.
Good. You're too young to go bad on me.
Yeah, yeah. So Riverside, California, your father was a staff announcer for NBC.
Yep.
Your mother, Ray Charles singer on the record.
On the Perry Como show, yeah.
On the Perry Como show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how was that like growing up with all this talent around you?
Well, it's when it's all you know, it's just what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I was in show business from day one, from the day I was born. So
Wow.
I was just around it. And, my dad took me down to NBC sometimes to watch him say, and now the NBC Nightly News. One of those guys with the big voice of God kind of guys. And then my mother would take me to the TV station, and I'd get to sit around in the dressing room with all them half naked dancers and singers and, you know, get corrupted as a little 6-year-old boy.
I can only imagine, Billy. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So your childhood was pretty interesting. Now, music is in your blood as a teen. You make your first record, My Heart Cries.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my
Yeah.
love. You're a lover boy. How did that process happen?
Well, I had already been singing and playing in a little band in high school, and we got kind of known around the area, playing all the Catholic school dances, and girls are screaming, and it's wow, and
Nice.
and so I joined another band when two of my guys, or the guys that I was in the band with, went away to college, and these guys, they were a little more ambitious. So we made a record, and I wrote one side of it, The first, all my Heart Cries was written by Etta James and Harvey Fuqua, who was the lead
Wow.
singer of the Moonglows, you know, Harvey and the Moonglows.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, but we didn't know that at the time. Some guy told us he wrote the song. Yeah, what happened was they fired their other singer because he was he was not a cool guy. So they got rid of him, and he said, "Yeah, I wrote this song for you, Billy." I guess he was trying to scam me. So we sold the record to a little record company, Laurie Records. They had Dion and the Chiffons and some acts like that. And just as the record was about to come out, some girl came in the club we were playing one night and said, "Man, I saw your record down on the jukebox at John's Paradise in the Bronx." I said,
Wow.
"Whoa, well, the record ain't out yet. How could you hear it on that?" So we go down to John's Paradise and we looked at the jukebox and it said, "My Heart Cries" by Etta and Harvey. So we quickly called up the record company, said, "You got to change the writer's credit on that. This dude didn't write the record." So the record came out and it was like #1 in Pittsburgh, little regional hit. And then
Right.
the other side that I wrote, All My Love, that was a hit in Louisiana and Texas. So I guess it had more appeal to the Southern kind of contingent. And that was
Oh,
it. Then we were off to the races. So anyway, after we had the record out, and didn't really do much of anything. The guy said, that little song, All My Love, you wrote, that's pretty good. You got any more songs? I said, do I have songs? Sure. So I played the dude some songs and he took two of them and gave me $35 a piece and
wow.
and paid for us to do demos in the studio. And a couple of weeks later, he called me up and said, "Hey man, I got a record on one of your songs." I said, "Which one?" He said, "Mean Old World." I said, "Who's singing it? Joe Blow?" I figured somebody nobody ever heard of. He said, "No, man, Ricky Nelson." I said, "Ricky Nelson?"
Right.
He said, "Yeah, he's going to do it 5 weeks in a row on the Ozzie and Harriet show.
Oh my goodness.
You're going to make some money, Sonny."
And being a songwriter, I mean, there's something that's just so rewarding, especially when you see people actually really appreciate your art.
You bet.
I mean, that high is like you just can't even, you can't measure it with anything else.
And the first time you hear your song on the radio, man, I don't care if it's the first time or if it's like 30 years later, it's still a thrill.
Yeah.
In those days, you put out a single; they didn't give you an album deal, so
Right.
nobody had seen us. So then we get an offer to play the Apollo Theater.
Oh gosh, that was bad.
Yeah, so in those days the Apollo was 7 days a week, 5 shows a day, and then the night before the first day of that 7 day week, you'd go up to the theater and you would rehearse with the house band. And so I show up. And the stage manager was a fellow named Honey Coles from the great tap dance team, Coles and Atkins.
Wow.
And he said, Harlem hasn't seen you yet, meaning me, because they had never seen an interracial
Right.
duet singing love songs before. It had never happened.
Is that something else?
Yeah. So he said, what I want you to do, he said, since Harlem hasn't seen you yet, I want to surprise him. He said, Judy, you enter from stage right. And Billy, you enter from stage left. Let her take 3 steps out first, and then you make your entrance. So watch what happens. Because those old timers, they knew everything about show business.
Yeah.
And in those days, the old timers saw it as their obligation to teach us young bucks,
Yeah.
all about show business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, first day, 10:30 in the morning, first show. Places filled up, and we because our record was a hit already, so they were excited about seeing us. So we come out there. I count 1, 2, 3, enter. 1,500 people gasp at the sight of me. I could see them, I could hear them out there. They're going, "That's him."
I can imagine.
That skinny little white boy, that's him singing like that. Well, we killed it. we killed it, man. He had put us on second, which is not a great spot. You know, the opening act is always a flashy dancing act, you know. The second act is somebody new or somebody not that great. Then it gets better, 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 better. Star, the headliner, closes the show. So after the first show, we went over so well, he came up to our dressing room and he said, I'm going to change up the show. He said, I'm going to put you all on right before the Star. He says, because ain't nobody going to follow you two. And so that became our spot, you know.
Wow.
And we became very popular at the Apollo, hence the name of the book and the documentary, Harlem to Hollywood.
Yeah, it's because you were doing voiceovers, and you know, I'm listening to some of the voiceovers that you've done in the past, and I'm like, wait a minute, I heard this voice so many times.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
had a good run.
was that a natural transition into the voiceovers?
Well, what happened there was, you know, sometimes you do things for love,
Yeah.
and I love old records. I love the old rhythm and blues and jazz records. So
Yeah.
I was playing. I got a little radio show. I did it for free on those college stations. I did it for 6 years, and I played old rhythm and blues records, you know, from the 50s mostly. And one day in my little mailbox at the station was a note that said, he has an interesting voice. You believe him when he talks. Would he be interested in doing voiceovers? Well, I had an expensive wife at the time, and I needed money.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to try it. And the first one I did, I remember, was Nissan. And you know, it caught on because people started calling me. I said, well, I better get an agent, you know. So I did, and I got a good one. And man, they started sending me. So I had a 22-year run of voiceovers.
Is Billy Vera just kicking back and just relaxing in the sun right now?
Well, I still write. I write articles for this magazine called Blues and Rhythm about, you know, a lot of dead artists, old artists. But I also play with the band about once a month, either the Beaters or with the big band. So I do that, and I do things like this week. What I'm doing with you, I have one every day this week.
Oh, wow.
And they're not all as good interviewer as you are, unfortunately.
Oh, well, thanks. Really appreciate it.
But I know how to handle it, you know. If you with somebody that's lame and who didn't do their homework, then you just say, well, I have to take over here. So when I came to LA, the boss at Warner Brothers, he said, play me a couple of songs. So I played him that one and another one. And when I played him at this moment, and he had all his staff was in the room with me at the piano, and I look around at him, he's got tears coming down his face. This is a hardened professional song plugger, you know, song man. I mean, Warner Brothers had 2 million songs in their catalog, and he's crying over my song, man. I said, wow, because I never thought it was a commercial song.
Oh.
Next thing you know, our little record on this little Rhino record label, it's leaping up the charts, man, over Madonna, Bon Jovi, all these people.
Wow.
And the record finally, goes to #1. And it changed my life, of course.
Absolutely.
It changed my life, man. I was now a member of the club.
Sold.
Yeah, it sold like crazy, man. So,
Is that?
What's that?
I said, is that something? Wow.
Yeah. I got to be on American Bandstand, which my 2 dreams as a kid was to play the Apollo Theater and to be on American Bandstand.
Bandstand.
So Dick Clark, he put the microphone in front of my face, you know.
Oh, man.
It was so cool. He was a nice man. He's no longer with us.
Dick Clark's a really good guy.
He liked me. He used me on all of his shows that he produced. He produced a lot of shows. And he actually came to see the band in the club. And that night he came, in fact, he loved Ronnie's song. He came backstage. He said, Ronnie's song. He said, that is a movie of the week. I'm gonna make that a movie of the week. He never got around to it, but every time I saw him, he said, I'm not giving up on Ronnie's song. So you got the same taste as Dick Clark. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I mean, just what an incredible journey.
It's been a ride, man. You know, it's been a good ride.
One hell of a ride, my brother. And you know what? The wheels are still turning.
That's right. You know, it's never too late. Never too late.
Never too late. And at this moment, I want to let the audience that have been watching this know that this guy here, Billy Vera, is just an amazing soul. So if anyone who doesn't know, please go on YouTube, go to billyvera.com and just do your research and enjoy the body of work and the contribution that he has given to this planet. And I'm a proud recipient of it, my brother.
Well, thank you, Sly, man. It's been a pleasure to be here with you, brother.
Been a pleasure to be with you as well, my brother. And I look forward to seeing you real soon with the Beatles.
All right. Well, if you show up, make sure I know you're there.
Absolutely, man. Let's shake the world. Love you, brother.
Love you too, my man.
Take off that mask and show your pretty face. Take off that mask and show your pretty face. To hide such beauty is a darn disgrace.
Take off that mask and show your pearly whites. Take off that mask and show your pearly whites. To show your smile is my heart's delight.
Scrub, 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 wash my hands. Come on, baby, I'm a real clean man. Let's go. Come on, dance with me.
Friday with Sammy Davis. Here's a little hint where I stay. The city shines like Liberace's mansion, and you know Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling, yeah, that would tempt me. It's Sin City, holy water couldn't cleanse me. And Wayne Newton had